welcome to Briona's Legacy on allpointstv.com. My name is Sam Jahari. It's been a while for me. I had to back out for a little bit. I was really depressed, and it just seemed like a losing cause of what we were trying to do here. But anyways, for those of you that know me and those of you that don't know me, I want you to know who I am. Okay, I've always been I've never really been much of a straight ticket voter or whatever. I voted for Clinton, I voted for Bush, I voted for Obama the first time. I'm a big Trump supporter. How did I get here? Okay, I try always to follow who I think is the best one running for office. And I think what happened is, with losing my daughter, it really woke me up more to politics than ever before. In 2009, February 11th, I have a sister that's 42 years old. She struggled with bipolar. She was living on her own, and she came up missing. And she's still missing. No one really knows what happened to my sister. It was like, how does somebody just disappear and vanish, which is crazy. Okay, here's a sister that really, she lived by herself, but, the family pretty much took care of her. We came, bringing her cigarettes, her pop, her food, whatever she needed, on a daily basis. And my mom came to see her. I think it was about 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night. She left her. That next morning, she was nowhere to be found. Well, a year or so later, I went to a meeting that I think our state rep was having and stuff, and it was about sex trafficking. And to be honest with you, that was like a light went out. That's how I think my sister disappeared. Let's go a year further. Now I got a daughter that's 17 years old. This is Valentine's Day 2011 that my daughter overdoses in my home, in my arms. Here I'm fighting for her life. She still has a needle in her arm. Worst day of my life. So, in life, I think, I'm a businessman. We had opened up a new business in January 2009. So I think in life, sometimes, no matter how you have your life planned, God has a different purpose for you. But sometimes you just don't really realize what the purpose is. You just kind of get thrown into it. So what happens there after my daughter dies, I started talking to newspapers and stuff like that. And all of a sudden it was like people were coming out of the woodwork, Hey, I lost my child this way. I lost my mom. I lost my sister. I lost this, to addiction, to overdoses. Last year in our country, we had over 60,000 people die of overdoses, and well, 2016 comes along, and I'm listening to Donald Trump speaking about the border, stopping the drug flow coming in here, the drug trafficking, the sex trafficking, all these things that are happening through our border, So that was a big cause for me. That was a big thing for me, that this was my man. I wanted to vote for Trump. Now, do I agree with everything that this guy says? Hell no. But overall, what he said and what he's done, this man is a man of his word, He's done everything that he said he was going to do, plus some. And the only things that he didn't get accomplished was because the Democratic Party didn't help. They didn't jump aboard and make this. They want him to fail so they can just keep in office. The Democratic Party used to be for the little man, you know. Now I don't know what the hell they stand for. They want open borders. They're more for the illegals than for these people that live here, that are Americans, the people that voted for them, which is freaking crazy. What has happened to our lives? I'm an immigrant. I came to this country. I was a little boy. My dad was a United States citizen through naturalization, through my grandfather. That's how we came, But my mom, it took 3 years for her to go to school and take the test to become a citizen. But that was, it was like one of the proudest moments of our lives, was coming here. And what makes this country great is about we the people. We the people, get to put people in office. That's one of our biggest liberties is our vote. I don't know what's going on in our country, but, you can't just sit on the sideline and just say no to everything. You got to do what's good for the people, for America. I'm very proud to be an American. And, when Trump was talking about the borders and stuff like this, I was all in. I was driving through Linden, and I seen this guy. He was offering Trump signs. And I says, man, I would love to put one of these in my yard. But people are crazy, I'm afraid they might burn my house down or something. So anyways, I ended up taking this home, and it was like for 2 weeks, it was in my garage, and I thought to myself, this is crazy. This is America. I have the freedom to put whatever I want in my yard, and I can't worry about that. So of course, I put that sign in my yard. I'm getting the garbage, the garbage can from the road, and I see that my sign is ripped up in pieces and it's put into the garbage bin. Now I'm like, what the heck? Who is this anybody's business to do this to what is on my property? Anyway, I had this other neighbor that lived down the road from me. She says, Sam, I have this big sign if you want. I don't want to put it in my yard because it was not like a cul-de-sac, but she lived on the end of the street and far from the entrance. She says, if you want, we can put it in your yard. I said, yeah, I'd love that. Let's put it in my yard. So anyways, we put it in the yard, and as she was putting it in my yard, I had this other neighbor come, and she's telling her, you can't put this here. And she said, well, I got permission from the owner of the house, and he said to put it in here. So my wife had come out, and she says, yeah, we're going to put it up here. Oh, I don't know about all that, but whatever. So anyways, we ended up putting the sign in front of our house. So, as we put the sign in front of our yard, we were pulling out to come to work, and all of a sudden it's like I see the sign is like spray painted. And I'm sitting and I'm looking at the sign, and I'm telling my wife, I said, look, somebody spray painted the sign. And I look and I see my neighbor, she's smiling at me and she's waving, I didn't think anything of this. Now my neighbor, she's been a neighbor for over 15 years. This lady was like my second mom, anytime we had something going on, she was always invited. She'd come in, take care of our dogs, so she had keys to the house. As a matter of fact, for her kids' 16th birthday party, we gave them the surprise party at my house. This is how friendly and how much we love this person, Well, come to find out, she had spray painted my sign. What the heck? The last election with the presidency, I lost more friends on Facebook. People quit talking to me, as an American, and as I'm a veteran. I served my country proudly. It wasn't I wasn't forced to go into the military. I wanted to serve. All of a sudden it's like somebody's trying to tell me what I can do and what I can't do. They want to take my freedoms away. The freedom of speech. I can't put a sign in front of my house, or because I wanted to vote for Donald Trump. This was a crazy time in our life. I had never, ever seen that. I'm 58 years old, I've been around for a while. Like I said, I voted for Clinton. I voted for Bush. I voted for Obama the first time. And I proudly voted for Mr. Trump. And these freedoms, I don't take lightly, because I come from a country where you don't have these freedoms, You don't have the freedom of speech. You don't have really the freedom to vote. I come from a country where the dead people vote. They make the election do whatever they want them to do. And all of a sudden in 2016, we were starting to see this. That's crazy. This stuff does not supposed to happen in our country. And that's how I always thought. This stuff doesn't happen in our country. I knew that, when these senators, they come into office or whatever, and they barely make 100,000, 200,000 a year, all of a sudden, now they're worth millions. Well, I tell you how they get to be millions is from drug companies, from all these different companies that pay these guys under the table to get their laws or what they want passed. And the whole thing is, as Americans, we cannot be sleeping. See, when you vote for somebody, you have to hold them accountable for that. You have to hold them accountable, to do the right thing for the citizens of this country. Well, like I said before, sometimes God, he pushes us in different directions. And what happened after my daughter died, we started speaking. The sheriff department came out with they realized there was a problem, and they came out with a program, and the program was called Slaying the Dragon. And we started at Lake Fenton High School. And, I was asked to speak, and from that, it just kind of took a life of its own. Now, I have spoken about drugs and addiction and overdoses, over 55,000 kids. And the whole thing is, I haven't been on the radio in probably a year and a half, and I haven't been doing the Slaying the Dragon or Chasing the Dragon in about that long. I got to the point where I was so depressed, I had to just back out of it. And with the way, this country has become, I just can't stay quiet anymore. I talk to a lot of friends, and, aren't you worried for your life? And aren't you worried this? And aren't you, it's like sometimes when you have the calling, you just do what you need to do. I just can't sit on the sideline and not do anything. I'm tired of going to funerals. Okay? I've been to more funerals than I care to count. And after losing, my daughter, I took on a kid that I was looking out for, and helped him get a job, and was hoping that he would stay clean and stuff. And a little over a year ago, he passed, in a drug overdose, to heroin. And this kid would say, I have a good life. I don't know what happened. I didn't need the drugs. I was going to college. I had a beautiful girlfriend. I had the life. Well, what happens is 10% of us, 10% of us, we fall into this addiction. It might be, alcohol or it might be the opiates. It might be even cigarettes. There's lots of addictions. But, let's say 10 of us will go to a party and we do the same thing. We smoke, drink, whatever it is that we do at this party. One of us will fall. One of us will fall into this addiction, okay? Whether you have that addiction gene or whatever the hell it is, but one of us will fall. And the whole thing is, we as a country have come a long ways on that. And now Trump is really trying to stop it at the border from coming in, which is, I think that's a big thing. I had this one judge tell me one time, well, if we didn't have people that want it, then it won't be here, which I have very much respect for this judge, but I thought it was the stupidest thing I ever heard. If we stop it from coming in, that if they can't find it, they can't get it. Plus now we're not just locking people away anymore. We're looking for other answers, to help them. And as a matter of fact, Monday I'm going to go to a drug court and speak to these addicts. I can't sit by anymore and just not do what I need to do. I think, to be honest with you, it's like I was telling you, it's like a losing battle. Every now and then you get somebody that sends you a nice note or tells you, you saved my life. Thank you. That's besides all the funerals that you've gone to, okay? That's why I say sometimes it's like a losing battle. But, I was always saying that it doesn't matter how many battles we lose. It's about the war. We got to win the war, and it helps, by people going out and voting in the right way. Get educated. Know who this person is that you're voting for. I'm not going to tell you to just vote Republican or whatever. This time I think I am. The whole thing is the Democratic Party has shown us all they want to do is not help the American people. They want to help these illegal aliens. Let me tell you, these illegal aliens, this is what happens. When they come in, they give them free housing, free health care. They get food stamps. They get whatever they need. They can go into a hospital. They don't pay for anything. All right? Well, the taxpayers pay for that. Okay? I love people, and I'm very much I feel sorry for these people that can't find a job in their countries or whatever, But the whole thing is, like Trump says, we got to look out for us first. Then we can help others. We can't just open our borders. And the people that tell you that, oh, yeah, like these actors but they live in like a big confinement. They got walls that surrounds their house. No one can come in, okay? For people that just want to open up their borders, I say just, keep your door open at night and just let anybody wants to come in, let them come in. Would you like that? Hell no. Hell no. Is that the only reason that I like Trump? No. He got our economy going again. I told you I'm a businessman. I've seen increases in my sales. I've seen people that got money. I listen to different TV stations besides these liberal stations. Now, you got to understand, liberal stations and media, they have over 92% of the newspapers, TVs, radios that they run and operate. And they keep spewing this crap at you. Oh, how bad Trump is and how bad things are. And look what we're doing to these and look at what we're doing here. But they're not telling you all the good things that's been happening. They're spoon feeding you with crap. You need to really get educated. I went to a John James rally. a couple of weeks ago, and there was over 4,000 people. Now, what attracted me to this guy? I used to work at not Foot Locker, but Kuppenheimer's. And I remember Mrs. Stabenow when she was running for office. She brought in her husband, and I sold him a suit. She's been around for 20 years and has not done nothing for the people. Nothing. What they do is they want to feed you like they're doing something, and really they're not doing nothing. They want to keep you down and keep dependent on them. Okay? Just for your vote. Then they don't do nothing for you. Let's wake up, America. Let's wake up, people. It's about you and me and everybody, your neighbors. Don't get sucked into this. Do we want to go back, in this state to what we had under the Canadian governor that we had? And she says, oh, vote me in. I'm going to blow your mind. She blew our minds, all right. She didn't do shit but take this country down, or this state. We were over 9% unemployment here. Our state is moving forward. Our country is moving forward. We don't want to go back to those days where people were waiting in line for food stamps, for their unemployment check. We've got the lowest unemployment, I think, in history. We definitely don't want to go back. Well, anyways, I was listening to John James on his commercials and stuff. Here's a pilot, a helicopter pilot. He flew Apache helicopters, in the Gulf War. And he was humble, and he says, I want to serve. I said, man, I gotta hear what this guy's really got to say. So I went to this rally, and over 4,000 people. I'm sorry, but I did not see one black person in there. Why? The black people were Republicans. That's where they started. And it was the Democrats that made a bet and made the ghetto. That's the truth. Go back and look at history. Nobody wants to tell you this stuff. Why? I loved what Trump had to say. He says, you know what? Look at these cities that these Democratic mayors have ran forever, 50 years, 80 years, Give me a chance. That's what he said. Give me a chance. And he got voted in office, and look at all the things that he's doing. So anyways, John James, here's someone that's offering us something different, something good where he can get something done for the people. He says, I'm not about a Democrat or Republican. I'm about we the people. But he's running under the Republican ticket, and for that, no black people, what is that, at his rally? I was very disappointed. I have a black nephew, okay? I am of Arabic descent, okay? I love all people. I'm not prejudiced to nobody. But the division came in this country not under Trump. It came under Obama, I'm sorry to say. He started the division in this country. Let's see things for what they are, for the truth. We need to unite as a country, as a people, We need to unite and see what's really going to help us move forward. I was talking to a lady the other day, and she's like, I don't come very often anymore. I'm working in Traverse City. She said, I'm making good money. I feel good about myself, She says, so I come home as whenever I can. But, for her to work or whatever, she left Flint to Traverse City. And you can see the happiness, the glow on her face. Because she feels good about herself. She can take care of her family. We need Republicans in office Plain and simple. I don't know what happened to our Democratic Party, and I don't really care. And you see these people that are walking away and they're running. Hey, look, Trump got voted from all the people that left the Obama, okay, that originally voted for Obama. They voted for Trump because they wanted something different. Everything that Obama had said turned out to be a lie about the health care and all that stuff. Look at it. Then he wants to say, oh, now he wants to take credit for this economy. I remember what Mr. Obama said. He says, what does Trump think? He's got a magic wand. He's going to make 3% or 4% growth. He's got a magic wand. Now that Mr. Trump is getting that 3% and 4% growth, he wants to take credit for it. I'm sorry, but Mr. Obama's his administration, they hampered and they choked business. They made it so it was hard to survive as a businessman. And Trump loosened up all these loose ends, you know. They wanted to get rid of mining, you know. They wanted to get rid of manufacturing. Look, manufacturing is back. Mining is back. We're not relying on Arabs to get us oil. We are sending oil outside this country. We are kicking ass in every aspect. Please, please get out and vote. We don't want to go back. And I'm sending, you know, whoever can hear my voice, please, please. Hey, don't do it because I'm telling you. You go do your homework as I do, you know. I really check these people out because these people that we vote in, they represent you. They got your vote. And I don't know what's important to you, whether it's working or the drugs or the borders or protection. You know, when I was in the military, it was under the Peanut Man, Mr. Carter. You know, we were the weakest military ever. And that's where we were before Mr. Trump came along. He wanted a lot of money to get us respected around the world. And when you lead by strength, people listen. You know, Obama told Trump that, hey, you know, you might be going to war with North Korea. North Korea is coming to the table. You know, they quit firing missiles and stuff because they knew this guy he ain't taking that shit. Iran, what kind of deal was that we made with Iran? We gave them billions of dollars cash. And they waited on that format till they got their money to release our 5 people that they had hostage. Isn't that crazy? Oh, we got all the people back from North Korea. We didn't have to pay nothing. They wanted to show their good faith. I'm proud to be an American. Not because we take care of everybody around the world. You know, for the first time, though, we're not stopping at taking care of anybody, but we're taking care of us first. And that's how it should be. You know, you got to take care of you. Then there's always plenty to go around. But you can't rely on the government to do everything for us. The government can't even run itself. It's about we, the people. Hold government responsible for what they do. It's not just about padding their pocketbooks. It's about what they're accomplishing for you and me and for our families. Well, anyways, I'm very, you know, today it was just like this light just came on my head and it's just like, oh my God, I can't understand these people. You know, what I can understand is they're spewing this shit down your throats, just like they shoved that healthcare, Obamacare down our throats, okay? You got to read it till you know what's in it. That's not how government is supposed to run, okay? And don't vote for these people that are on false promises that aren't going to get you nothing. All they want to do is they want to impeach our president, and they want to go backwards. They want to go back to the time where you're standing in line on welfare and stuff. Is that what you want for yourself and for your families? That's not what I want. That's not what I want. And that's why I felt the need that I had to speak and speak out loud. I love this country. I love everybody. I don't care what race or where you come from. We're all immigrants in this country. And that's what makes it great. It's a big melting pot, It's like they want to blame Mr. Trump on everything that goes bad, but they don't want to give him credit for anything that he does good. What's up with that? This is your 92% media, and this is what they keep shoving down your throat. They make it all woo and ah, but they're not showing you the truth of how good things are. But I'm sure, those of you that were on welfare, that were on the unemployment line, if you look all around, all you see is help wanted signs. The last time it was like this, I think it was under Clinton days, because I was, like I said, I've been in business and in management for the last 35 years. I think I was working at Foot Locker, and it was really hard to find good help because they had many opportunities to go right next door and get a job, so you really had to offer them something. The last under Obama, all they wanted to do is, businesses give you a better wage. Going to McDonald's, that was like a starting point. That's a starting point. That means, who's that for? It's for the kid that's still in high school that needs a little extra money to put in his gas tank. But who did we have working there? All these retired people that still had to go back to work so they could survive. Let's wake up. Let's wake up. Let's see the truth for what it is. The addiction and overdoses, too, that just keeps getting higher and higher. But I think that's a starting point, They put more money. They're not just sending people getting locked up. They're giving them, they're sending them rehabs. They're finding different ways and locking people up to get them cured. You can't lock people up that are sick. And yeah, it might be that, nobody forced them to light up that first joint or that first drink or whatever. But a lot of people, it's not from that they got addicted. I don't know if you've heard, but a couple years ago I came across this. It was the governor of New Jersey. Anyways, he was talking about his mom died of cancer, and she was a smoker. And nobody said that, she's an addict, she deserved that. Well, yeah, she was an addict. I was addicted to cigarettes, and that was very hard to get rid of. Okay? Well, did I know that was going to happen? Well, for a long time, the cigarette companies, they hid that from us. They made it out to be so cool and stuff. When you're hanging out with your buddies in school, let's light up, man, because it's a cool thing. Now what do we got going on in schools? Instead of cigarettes, it's those vapes, and it's really, we don't know all the bad things about it yet. But the whole thing is there's a stigma that goes behind it. Anyways, he had a buddy of his. He was, he became a lawyer. He studied really hard. He was had one of the best law firms. Now, this guy was a runner and stuff, and from running, he hurt his back. And they put him on Percocets, and the Percocets pretty much took over, he became addicted to those opiates. A lot of people, they go and get their tooth pulled, okay? And the same thing, you know, doctors are going to give you something for pain. Well, the whole thing is they used to give you like a month prescription just because there was more money in it. Now they've limited that, you know, so they're tightening it up. They're going to the source, the doctors and dentists. Okay, if somebody's hurt or whatever, you know, they're going to be in pain for 3 days. You give them a script for 3 days, not for a whole month. All right. So there's a lot of good things that's happening for addiction. Okay. And like I said, last year we lost over 60,000 Americans. 60,000 Americans. You know, and you look all around the country and all around the world, and you see that there's some addiction that's going on all around the world, but nothing compared to what we have here. Okay. And to be honest with you, I hold a lot of the heroin growth, not against Obama, but I hold that against our President Bush, you know, going to war over at Afghanistan, and that's where all that poppies and all that the heroin started coming from, you know. And a lot of times I'm looking in history, and a lot of these presidents, that's how it supported their wars, was drugs. You know, and the whole thing is, a lot of times, things happen in our country that really we don't ever know the truth. You know, I still think that 9/11 was a conspiracy, you know. I know Arabs, they're smart and stuff, but, you know, to get 4 planes with a frickin' box cutter, 4 planes at the same time, it doesn't make any sense. And there's a lot of things that happen in that, you know, that doesn't make sense. I remember at the time, I think it was ABC, it was Peter Jennings, he was doing a story, and there was 3 Israeli people that were hanging out right there by the buildings and taking pictures, you know, of the planes coming in and hitting. It was like they knew it was coming. Well, anyways, we held them for 3 days or 4 days. Hey, don't believe everything I say. Go back and check it out, you know.
This is on YouTube, by the way, where you're talking about these videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Interviews of the people who spotted these. They didn't know who they were. They just saw them dancing outside of her apartment. She was on the Jersey side, and they were looking intently over across the river, I guess, to where, you know, the side where the towers were at. And she reported it, and then it was like the New Jersey cops pulled these guys over. So this was all. There's several videos. Yeah, there's several videos.
They did hold them for 3 to 5 days. Then Israel asked them to be let go and brought back to their country. Now, how did they know? Here's what I think the conspiracy is. Okay, I remember, you know, because I followed about what was going on in the Arabic countries and stuff, and I remember the Palestinians at the time. You know, they were called. They were a liberty. You know, they were fighting for their liberty, for their country. All of a sudden, after that happened, they made them out to be, now they're terrorists. So that changed for them. You know, they came out with a whole different things, you know, and a lot of these, what I'm trying to tell you is the government, they make shit up, that things that happen. You know, the guy that shot up the whole Nevada and stuff, they still don't know what the hell was that all about. I mean, somebody doesn't just get crazy. For 3 days, they're bringing in shit and nobody's looking. That doesn't make sense. You have to look more into what's going on. You know, and every time there's a shooting, what happens? All the Democrats, they get on a roar. Oh, we need to take away the guns. What I'm trying to tell you is they want to take your liberties away. They want to take your rights away, one by one, because you're sleeping. That's where you need to wake up and really see things for what they are. Really see things for what they are. Hey, let's go back to the school, the school in Florida. There was a sheriff outside. Never came in to help. Then another one came. They sat outside. Then that sheriff himself, what an idiot. How the hell did he get his job? So open your eyes. Let's open your eyes to the truth of really what's happening. These propagandas happen because that's how they get their voice heard. Don't be sleeping. Our forefathers gave us a Second Amendment. It wasn't just to protect ourselves from, the burglar or whatever that was coming in. It was to protect ourselves against the government. That's why we had the Second Amendment. So if the government gets too big, we have something to defend ourselves. Boy, the forefathers, man, they were so smart. It was way ahead of their time. Don't let them take your freedoms away. That's why I wanted to serve. I wanted to serve because I love this country. And I'm hating what's going on with us. The Democrats, they used to have the black vote, and then they counted on the black vote. Now, really, that black vote is walking away. So what are they trying to do? That's why they're trying to bring these illegal aliens. Not because they love them or they want to help them, because they need their vote to stay in charge. Makes sense, doesn't it? Something to think about. Like I said, I'm not, a Republican or a Democrat or whatever. I try to see things for what it is and what's best for the country. President Trump, he talks about he wants to take the migration. No, I'm Lebanese. I had brought my parents. They brought my uncles, my aunts. So they brought family over here. But the way I look at it, what's best for my country is the best for me. If this is what they think is best, then I'm all in. I'm not complaining. I tried to bring my mother-in-law here for the last 15 years, and I've been denied 3 times. It pissed me off. It pisses me off. But if that's what you feel is right for our country, and they told me that she has nothing to bring her back to her country. Here's an old woman, okay? First, she lost her husband, and I wanted her to just change the scenery and stuff. They said, she has nothing to bring her back, Well, she has her house. She has still, young men and women, her daughters and sons, that would bring her back. But then another time we tried, and another time, and all was the same story. But like I said again, what's best for my country is best for me, okay? But let's see the truth. Let's see really what's behind it, okay? Here, ISIS came out, and they told us that we're going to invade your country. We're going to come to you through the border. They told us that. If we haven't learned anything from history, because we haven't, and history keeps repeating itself. The Japanese told us we were coming. They told us we were coming, and we neglected. We didn't listen. And guess what? They bombed Pearl Harbor. Bin Laden told us he's coming. We didn't listen. Now the ISIS is telling you they're going to invade our country through our borders, okay? And you people want to make these big issues, and it's not really you people. It's about the Democrats, because they're losing their power. They're losing their power. I don't want another 9/11, and I don't want all these shootings. But why we never want to deal with the real problem, and we just want to take away our amendments, our rights. Next Monday, I am going to be at Judge Luciana's drug court. I'm going to go in and, see if I can help. What it is a lot of times, these people, they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel because of the stigma that goes behind addiction. But the face of addiction, too, has changed. It's about children. It's about mothers. It's about fathers. It's about grandparents. The face of an addict does not, it's not prejudice. It doesn't care what color you are, how old you are, what sex you are. It will take you down. And it's about uniting as a country for the cause of the good. The legal aliens is not where it's at. Okay? I think that, the people that have been here, that we need to find a solution for them so they can stay. But these people that are coming in these caravans, and it's like, I want to tell you a story. I was in Dearborn, between Dearborn and Detroit, right on the outskirts. And the guy's got his sign up, he's homeless or whatever. The guy, his clothes looked halfway decent and stuff. He didn't look like he was homeless, He was halfway clean shaven and stuff. So anyways, I'm on the phone, and I looked at him, but I wasn't going to give him anything, so I just finished with my phone call. Well, he come knocking on my window, put up his sign, like, hey, I said, dude, if I wanted to give you money, I would have gave you money. It's like he wants to have a confrontation with me because I wouldn't give him anything. It's like I owe him something. And there's been many times I did. I give people money or whatever. And I smell the beer or the alcohol on their breath. Then it's like, oh, am I helping them? Or am I just, giving to their need of the alcohol? Sometimes we give just because we want to do the right thing and we feel bad. And other times, like I said, the stigma sets in and we look at people like, you're just an addict. Well, like I told you before, I get lost with that shuffle. And then God just shows me signs like, what I need to do as a person. And I love those little lessons of life that God shows me, to be humble and to be helpful at whatever I can do. And sometimes it's not just handing that man $1 so he can go get more alcohol or whatever, or his drugs or whatever it is. The first time after my daughter died, we decided as a family that we were going to go to the cemetery and we were going to celebrate her 18th birthday. And Briona, when the last Christmas she was with us, because she died February 14th on Valentine's Day. So that Christmas, my daughter, she loved dolphins. And so when we got to the cemetery, it was late. We just got off of work and stuff, and the sun was going down. The moon was like full moon and stuff. And when we got there, it was just like the moon was just like a spotlight. And the spotlight, it was on this cloud. And the cloud was a dolphin. And to let you know that I was pissed off at the world, and I was more pissed off at Briona, at God, because I wasn't trying to have a baby. I went through the rubber, and Brianna was conceived. And so at that point, it was like the anger was lifted from my shoulders. And it was like, all right, my daughter's okay, so I needed to be okay. Well, just to let you know, 5 years went down, and, I was speaking at schools and stuff. And now 5 years has gone by, and Brianna died in my home, in my arms. And really, I hated to come home, to be honest with you. I mean, it was just like, your house is your sanctuary. And I didn't feel that anymore. It was just like, this is where she died. But I didn't want to leave the house because I was afraid to leave her behind. So last October, we moved. And February 14th comes along, and it's a very emotional day for us anyways. And I tell you, my wife, when it comes to cleaning, she's quite anal, where she lifts shit up, she moves the rugs over, gets underneath them and stuff like that. And I tell her, I was like, who's gonna see that? Well, I know. It's like, okay. Anyway, you can't win those battles, so you just leave them alone. But anyways, so Christmas Eve we had the whole family over, and now it's February 14th. So it's a very emotional day for us. And my wife's getting ready to leave work and stuff, or to work, and she notices something sparkling, under the couch, where she's lifted this couch probably 2, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, God knows how many times, and has cleaned under there. But as she notices something sparkling, she goes and she lifts this thing up, and it was an angel, and it had all these sparkly things in there. And it was just like, Brianna's here with us. She moved to our new place with us. An emotional day became really more emotional, but these are the signs. I think God sometimes he speaks to us, but we have to have an open mind and really listen to what's happening around us. I'm going to give you one more. In June, my youngest son, he graduated from high school, so we were doing an open house for him. Anyways, that day it's raining, and my wife, she says, run up to the store and, I don't know, more balloons or something she wanted. So, for myself, well, of course, here I go. So I drive right by the cemetery, and as I always do, I start talking to her, And that day I was telling her, I says, honey, you're missing out on so much and this and that, wish you could be here with us. And all of a sudden, the rain stopped and the sun came out. And it was like, oh my gosh, you are here with us, I think they just linger on around us, We can't hear them, but there are angels that walk beside us. And, well, my point is, I want to reach out and touch those people before they become angels. I want to help them, to kick their habit and do my part, whatever I can do, to make things better. I'm back on the scene. I'm back strong, going strong. But I need your help, okay? I really need, I'm a big believer one hand doesn't clap by itself. Neighbors, friends, everybody in the community really need to come together for whatever is needed all around us. And the big thing right now, what we need is for you to get out and vote and really study those people that you're voting for, because you get what you deserve or what you vote is, right? So really study these people that you're voting for. Really know what they represent, besides their pocketbook. Okay, to be honest with you, as somebody in government, it's not like they make millions, but what they do is their vote makes them millions. Really, we need to get rid of the Democrat and the Republican parties completely, and everybody should be working for America, for the people. And really, the two-party system is to hold each other accountable. So when the people are sleeping, somebody's holding these people accountable. But the whole thing is they're all shady. They're all shady. People get into politics not to make money. They get in there because they want to serve the people. And what happens is, as they get to Washington, the mighty dollar and the evil end starts appearing in front of them. And over, they forget the real reason why they got into politics in the first place. So it's upon you to keep them accountable. I urge you to get out and vote. We're less than a week away. Make your voice heard. Join me in the fight, or wherever you think that I can help in any way. Please reach out. I don't have any problems going wherever. I'm not about the money or whatever. I could care less. Okay, it's about doing what we need to do to better man and woman and kids and all that. You know, I've seen a lot of things change in this country, and family is like key. Family has really gone by the wayside, but God told us that was going to happen. You know, so all we can do is do what we can do. That means, you know, not one at a time, but as we united or in strength in numbers, okay, the more of us that we are, the more we can get things done. And I'd be glad to help in any way, but this cause of addiction and stuff, it's getting a little better, but there's still a lot of people dying. I'm tired of going to funerals, and let's make a difference. Let's make a difference. Again, you know, sometimes the political aspect, you're just so emotional, you're so into it that you don't hear that other person's point of view, because, you know, whether you're liberal or conservative or whatever, you're just really headstrong on your beliefs. I've been in sales all my life, and they always said, don't talk religion and don't talk politics, you know. But we quit talking. That's the whole thing is, we quit communicating. And that's how wars start, is lack of communication. We need to talk, okay? Because when we do talk and when we communicate, we're going to find that we're a lot more together than we are separate, or we're more, we have the same beliefs. But the whole thing is, you know, they want to make us out to be we're prejudiced, or we're fascist, or we're this, we're that. They want to label us, okay, instead of really talking to us, okay. When you know, I was listening to I think Senator Gowdy. He was talking about one of his friends was somebody that worked on the Obama administration or whatever. He said we're very close friends. And the whole thing is, when you know what their points of view or what makes them tick, we're all the same. We're all the same. It's just we think that this person is going to do it better than this person or whatever. But the whole thing is, see the lies. Sometimes you can't see it, but you know when it happens, all right? You know when it happens. Mr. Obama, you come out and you want to talk about, Mr. Trump is a liar, but, there's a lot of things that you lied about, okay? What happened to Benghazi, what really happened to that border patrol guy that got killed, because they were selling them weapons to the mob, Their hands aren't clean. That's what I'm trying to tell you. No one is perfect, but let's hold them accountable. And when somebody comes as a blessing, we need to accept that and absorb and want to hang on to it. And that's what I think is happening in our country. There's a lot of good things that's happening, and we want to hang on to it. We don't want to go back to what we had. We don't want to go back to what was, okay? It's really, we got our economy, we got our country booming, manufacturing, it was about healthcare. The healthcare, well, you had to get rid of the Obamacare before you can get healthcare. They shoved us down our throat, and it was nothing. But it's like, oh, you got free healthcare. Well, it doesn't do you any good. If it doesn't do you any good, my friend, he went from $400 a month for his healthcare to $1,250. And it doesn't really get you anything. You still have a big copay and everything else. And that's where we're at. Anyways, I think my time is getting towards the end here. I really enjoyed talking with you all today. And we're going to make this a regular thing, I'm sure. All right? Again, one hand doesn't clap by itself. Please, join me in the fight. Okay? Do your part. God bless. Talk to you soon. I'm out.